What is going on, everyone? Steve O Supremo here, and I am just another game collector, and I'm a game collector who turned 40 today, officially. I know I kind of said in videos, 40-year-old guy or whatever, but it was official today. It's like this was going to be the year I turned 40 years old, and it happened August 12th, 2025. I've hit the big 4-0. And I was just wanted to do this video, just kind of reflect on my journey in gaming and collecting when that all started. It's been about 35 plus years, or at least 35 years of actually playing video games. And then diving into collecting back in 2011 was when I really started getting into collecting in the YouTube scene. And I know I've talked about it some, but I just want to talk about a couple memories because 40 is a big one to kind of hit. Like when you hit that big 4-0, it's kind of like you're on the downward slope now of life, which can be kind of sad to say sometimes, but people don't really live into their hundreds these much anymore. So I feel like I'm kind of on that downward half of things. And I felt like, man, when I hit 30, I just started falling apart. And who knows what's going to happen at 40, but it's a big one to hit. And just to kind of mark the occasion, I just wanted to reflect a little bit. I'm not going to lie, I've tried doing this video like twice already. And in doing so, one video went almost 40 minutes. And I'm like, I can't ramble that long. That's too much stuff to be going over and talking about. Maybe in the future, if you guys want to hear a whole history of how all my stuff has gone down over my whole life, sure. I'll sit down here for 2 hours, do a whole podcast about it. But I just want to reflect on a couple little memories right now about just playing games and then really when I started getting into collecting. But since it was my birthday today, I did get surprised by my family with a birthday present, which I'm not a guy who likes to get presents because you guys see all the stuff I get like every week. I'm getting stuff, man. So I don't need presents. I don't need people to get me anything. I already got too much stuff as it is, so I don't need anything more. Mainly the biggest decisions I have to make on my birthday are what do I want to eat for dinner and what my cake's going to be. And that's another thing to mark and show how old you are, because how many other people have asked for a carrot cake as their cake on their birthday? Any hands, anyone? Any hands? Yeah, it's probably slim to none. But this guy did because my wife, she uses her mom's recipe, but it's an incredible carrot cake recipe, and that's what I wanted for my birthday, so that's what we had, and everyone loves it, so awesome stuff. But my wife's horrible at getting presents when she tries to surprise me. She's only ever given me, and she knows this, it's no secret, she admits it. I think one time she's ever surprised me with like a gift that was like, wow, that's awesome. I can't believe you did that. Every other time, it's a dud. But they really shocked me today, and we got to give my son major props for this one because look what they surprised me with. I'll grab it for you. This bad boy right here. As you guys know, I've really gotten into recently collecting Jurassic Park stuff, and this Titanosaurus is one that has been on the checklist, one of my most wanted figures to get, but they don't sell it at Walmart, and that's all I have here. It's a Target exclusive, come to find out. But my son knew I wanted it, and he told my wife, because my wife was like, hey, doesn't your dad need a new gaming chair down at his desk? And I did. I need a new chair bad, but I got a free one at a yard sale like a couple weeks ago, so I didn't need one anymore. And so he gave her the idea like, no, dad would really like this thing if you got it. So I'll show you guys the other side here. Boom with the bad. Oh, we're upside down. If you guys can see that thing, this thing is 59 inches long. It's longer than my youngest kid. So that's pretty nuts how big this thing is. So we'll set that down. But yeah, it was just really cool that I was actually surprised this time. And even the way they did the box, one of my daughters did a cool little Mario Kart theme on it. I'll try to put a picture up here if I can remember of it so you guys can check out her little artistic touch to the box. But it was really cool. It got me. I was like, wow, you guys did a good job. Like, congrats, wife. She needed a lot of help from my son, but they knocked it out the park with that one. So really cool to add that to the Jurassic collection. It's starting to grow pretty fast now. And I got some awesome retro ones to show you that I got from a recent like yard sale video. That's coming up soon too. But now for some reflection after the celebration, because it is night, everything is quieted down. It's the alone time, and let's reflect a little bit on like the past 35 years of like gaming and collecting. Yes, I am 40, but I wasn't gaming out the womb. I don't know if I'd said that or not yet. So it was around 5 years old when I really started getting into playing video games. My earliest memories were with the NES. My aunt had one, so I go to her house and play it. One of my It's not a fond memory, but it's one that sticks with me, is one time my aunt came over to babysit me, and she brought her NES with this game right here, Super Mario Brothers 2. And when she brought that over, I remember she had brought it. I got to play it for a little bit, and then we had to eat dinner or something, and then we went outside to play before we were going to come back in, and I was going to play some more Super Mario. But when we went outside to play, I was actually racing one of my sisters around our house, and in doing so, I stepped on a Hot Wheels like Matchbox car that was missing the wheels. And when I stepped on it, it slit my foot wide open, and I had to go to the hospital and get stitches. So the rest of my night was spent kind of eating up, getting stitches in my foot. Imagine getting that call, like your mom's out on a date or something, or just out on the town with some friends, and then all of a sudden you get a call from the babysitter. Yeah, we're going to the hospital with your son because he slit his foot open. Not the best call to kind of get, but unfortunately, that's a memory I do remember just because it has that thing attached to it with me getting hurt. But yeah, early memories of just playing the NES and loving that. And my first console was the Super Nintendo. Got it for Christmas one year. And guys, I've mentioned it before. Anytime I got a console for Christmas was just beyond belief for me, because we were so poor back then. You guys don't understand how poor we were. Bouncing in trailer parks, living. We had to get food stamps and all this stuff. Mom was divorced, single mom, taking care of 3 kids, like working her butt off. Seemed like she was at work all day, and we were at home alone a lot. Even at young ages, she was trying to make enough money to get by. And it was just crazy, just how broke and poor we were. So to get something like a Super Nintendo for Christmas, about 2 years after it came out, was incredible to me. I don't know how she did it. I know she probably got help from my grandma too, but it was just awesome. I couldn't believe it. Like, just an awesome memory getting that. And the next system I wouldn't get the next system I would get gets a little fuzzy for me here, because we had a move take place. We lived in Lynchburg pretty much forever, then did a short move to Orange County, Virginia. Then we went back to Lynchburg. We did that move to Orange County because my mom had met a guy, and man, I don't think they got married, but I can't remember. It was so short-lived because the guy ended up being a real creepo, finding stuff on a computer you don't want to find on there. I don't want to say because I want this video to get affected, but if you think about stuff you don't want to find on your spouse's computer, you would think why a mom with her kids would want to get out of there. But this guy actually had money, and that guy actually bought me, pretty much him, he bought the Nintendo 64 complete in box for me for one Christmas with this game right here, NFL Blitz. But it gets fuzzy for me between that time period, because I have memories of playing the PlayStation 1, but it was my neighbor's PlayStation 1 back in Lynchburg, and he had a bunch of awesome games for it. And I don't know if I ever got one of my own or if he just let me borrow his, because he had eventually got a Sega Dreamcast and he didn't play the PlayStation 1 anymore, so he just let me play it for however long as I wanted and just keep it. And I would get games for it. One of the big ones was Resident Evil 2. I would get this bad boy, and I loved it to death. And I don't know if you guys remember back then, for the PlayStation, you had to have, or for those who don't know, back in those days, you needed to have memory cards to save your games, and I didn't have one. He didn't have one either for all the times he had it. And I couldn't save the game, so in order to kind of beat it and play through it, I had to leave the game on overnight, or while you're at school. You just had to leave it on, come back with that very hot system, and then continue your journey playing through it. But so many great memories with Resident Evil 2. To this day, one of my favorite games of all time. I know I'm showing this one because I have disc-only copies of the PlayStation 1 version, so that's not cool to show. But love that game, and still to this day, it's up there in my greatest games of all time, like my top 5. It's like 1A, 1B, 1C with a bunch of other games. I won't get into it into this video. But my sister would like try to bang on the door and jump scare me while my friends were watching. It'd scare us all while we're playing it. But just awesome times with the PS1. But I don't know if I actually ever owned one of my own until later on. The next one I have a vivid memory of getting was the Sega Dreamcast for Christmas, not on its initial launch year. I want to say it might have been as late as 2001. I think it's when that thing started getting discontinued where you couldn't really get them anymore. But I could not believe like getting that for Christmas with Sonic Adventure on it and WWF Royal Rumble, a horrible wrestling game for the Sega Dreamcast. But Mom knew I loved my wrestling and stuff like that, so she got that for me. So awesome game. But yeah, couldn't believe another console for Christmas was just incredible. And then from there on, like the big one that was really huge for me was the one I got to buy with my own money. Back in 2001-ish, I want to say, I finally started working with my uncle during the summer, around 16 years old. He had his own construction business, so I would help him during the summertime. And that first time helping him, just doing simple things like carrying the wood for him or unloading the trucks, just like simple little work like that. They wouldn't really let me help building the houses because I was a teenager, didn't know what I was doing yet. Eventually, while working with them, though, like I learned a lot of that stuff. So they would let me help out by cutting the boards and measuring them down and everything. If you need me to someone to frame your house to this day, I could do it for you if you need someone to frame it for you. But with that first payment he gave me for, if you imagine a 16-year-old in 2001 getting $400 put in your hand for 1 week of work, I just couldn't believe it. Like, what? I'm getting paid $400 for this work that I did? And sure enough, I took that money, the first thing I got with it, the very first paycheck. I would actually stay with my aunt and uncle during the summer. This is the same ones who had the NES. I would stay with them during the summer so I could work with them and my mom not have to drive me back and forth. And when she went to the store the next day to do grocery shopping for the week, my aunt, I rode with her to Walmart and bought me a PlayStation 2, baby. Bought a PlayStation 2 with SmackDown Just Bring It, and that was all my money. All gone. 1 week's worth of pay, all gone in one trip to the store. They were sitting there kind of laughing at me about like, man, that's the first time you're getting paid and you're just blowing it all now. Like, yep, this is what I wanted to get for it, and I got it. And I remember taking it back to her house and just playing through that SmackDown Just Bring It all night long. They couldn't believe it either because they had a PlayStation 1 and they just couldn't believe like the graphics looked amazing on it and they were impressed themselves. So loved that memory, but it also taught me the responsibility with money because that following week, I had no money for any lunch or anything. When they would go out to get lunch from a store or something, old Steve-O didn't have any money to get anything now. So just kind of had to bring stuff from my aunt's house to come and eat, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But I learned how to kind of manage my money a little bit better over the subsequent weeks getting paid. So really cool memory with that, though. And then eventually I would go on and get other systems like the Xbox and the GameCube and just every new system kind of later on down the road. Had really good memories with the Xbox, though, but unfortunately, I had to trade away my PS2 to get that. But my friends talked me into it. Also, we could play Halo 2. And I got to say, guys, back then, like I wasn't really trying to collect too hardcore yet. I was just wanting to play games and get the newest thing like most of us did back then. I don't know how many people actually collected. I know you look at guys like my Retro Life with his dad and stuff, but I think that collecting was more like his dad was older and knew like, hey, let's hold on to this stuff. As kids, I think a lot of us didn't really care, so we would trade it in. But anyways, traded in the PS2 and a lot of my games so I could get an Xbox and play Halo 2 online with my friends, and I had a blast. I was Halo, loved it, fell in love with it. We would stay up on school nights till like 2 in the morning when you shouldn't be playing Halo, and I would come in just like dead tired the next day to school. but it was all worth it. Trying to rank up in Halo in ranked matches. Oh, I never played anything like it. It had me hooked. I loved it and fell in love with it. So, and then good memories with the GameCube of once again, I remember going, I did not get a GameCube until Resident Evil 4 came out because that's how big of a Resident Evil fan I was. And that day I had went and got the GameCube and Resident Evil 4 and the Resident Evil 4 Prima guide all on the same day, went back to a buddy's house, and we stayed playing that thing all night. One guy would have the guide, reading it to me while I would be playing it, and we had two other friends who were sitting there hanging out watching it. Turned into a sleepover. Awesome stuff. But when it comes to the collecting, I really didn't get into wanting to collect and save my games until around 2011. That's when my YouTube channel started. My original YouTube channel, which it started off as called The Laggy Gamer. I was the Laggy Gamer because I lived back in the sticks where we couldn't get internet. My only form of internet was using my phone as a hotspot to get it. Well, before that, we actually tried satellite internet as well. So we got the satellite internet to kind of have internet. But with satellite internet, if you guys don't, man, this is back in 2011, like I said, the upload and downloads were very regulated. If I was playing a game like World of Warcraft where hitting your attack was very reliant on your ping of when your attack will get initiated. Like, what's the communication from when the attack's actually going to happen? If anyone knows anything about that, my ping would normally hover around 1600 milliseconds, which is clicking the button, waiting, then the attack kind of happens. It's not instantaneous like it is on any standard internet connection. If I want to play Call of Duty online, it's like horrible. You couldn't do any type of shooting because I would have to start shooting way early to get my bullets to register in order to get the kill. And even then, I was averaging over like a 1.6 something in Call of Duty with that deficiency at my hands. But it was just horrible. So I called myself a laggy gamer just because we didn't have any internet. Eventually started like using my phone to kind of tether through my computer from like a hacked kind of program, Foxfi on a phone. Just gave me a little bit better speeds. But yeah, it was a laggy gamer, 2011. And that channel was inspired because of guys that I would watch on YouTube all the time. Pretty much starting, man, I really started diving into YouTube pretty heavily around that 2008, 2009 type of era. Of course, AVGN, big one that everyone watched back then. But for me, I've said it before, it was like Happy Console Gamer and Pete Dorr were like the two pillars for me of really getting into collecting and wanting to go further down the rabbit hole of really getting back into the retro games and stuff back then. And it was incredible. Like that journey, just living through them and their collections and what they had was just awesome. To this day, I still watch them. I'm big fans of them, all their stuff. I watch Pete Dorr live stream every time he comes on. Even if I can't sit there and watch it, I'll always like just to support him. I'll open up Twitch when I get the notification and I put him on and he's on the screen. So anything that happens for me watching, he's getting revenue or whatever from it just to show that support. So I just love their stuff, guy. They were just big influences. And the Game Chasers came out and seeing them going out game hunting for games. That's really what made me want to start my channel up with looking at and getting retro games, collecting them, and just going hunting for them and reviewing them and just doing my discussions on them. So 2011 is when that really started. And it really started picking up, and then it would go in waves. Like you'd get like urges to go out. And again, I'm like newly married, still broke ourselves. We didn't have much money, so couldn't get too much. So trying to get games as cheap as you could and find them to add to the collection, it was tough. Like there were times where at one point I had to sell my whole Xbox 360 collection. I had sold that in order to get myself a new computer. I wanted to do that and really so I could just make and edit my videos and play games like World of Warcraft online with better graphics and stuff. So just having to go through all that was really painful because I was wanted to keep all my games from now on and not have to sell them. And eventually, like I'm at that point, I don't have to get rid of any of my games anymore. We are at a good financial place in our household these days, and it feels different when you can kind of get what you want and not have anyone hold you back or be regulated to anything. You should still be smart about where your money goes, but and not just throw it all away. But it's just so different from how I grew up, and then just the stages of life, man. Just like being so broken at the bottom as a kid growing up, just getting the one game a year if you're lucky, to now hitting that points of where newly married, so can kind of start getting into stuff and spending my money to once in a blue moon get myself a new game to add stuff to the collection, or friends who sell collections to me, and just to seeing where my collection is now, just where life is now, how we've just come so far, me and my wife and everyone, just not in our relationship or everything, but financially, spiritually, all that stuff. It's just incredible what can happen over time, and you never know where your life's going to be at when you're 20 years old. Like, where am I going to be when I'm 40 years old? What am I going to have? What's life going to look like? And I'm pretty happy with where I'm at 40 years old. I've had a blessed life. It's been pretty awesome. The stuff I went through younger has kind of prepared me through stuff I'm going through now. As older, learning to how to respect certain things you have and take care of certain things you have, because you never know what could not be there where you could be at. So being thankful for the things I have, being thankful for the jobs we have, and being very thankful for my kids and how healthy and everything they are. It's been a ride, man. It's been awesome. And as far as the collection, like, it has really picked up pace ever since we moved here to Washington. Like, I stepped up my collecting, and it's grown crazy. I can show you guys. I took it when I do my game room tour. I'm going to show you guys like a before picture and after of like where this kind of all started. I have a picture I saved from a game room tour I did back on my channel, the Steve-O, which was the Laggy Gamer channel, but it's now Steve-O Supremo, of what the game room looked like before I eventually had to tear it down for one of our kids being born. So I had to make room for them. But to see where that collection has morphed into like 10 years later is pretty insane. I know people have stuff that's way bigger, way more stuff than mine, but I'm pretty proud of what I have and the stuff I have in the collection. And it's all thanks to guys like Happy Console Gamer, Pete Dorr, Game Chasers, and many others. And all the great people I've met on YouTube here from them. People who I'm still friends with to these days that I still talk to. Alex Return to Mother Base, Paige Fem Trooper, still talk to all of them. Dustin Christ and Chance Doomwaves, man, the All Gen Gamers. That wasn't my podcast. We were another gaming podcast, and then Alex eventually joined in on. Just so many great memories with that. And all the special guests we had on there who were also the old school YouTubers, which unfortunately most of them don't do YouTube anymore. So it's kind of sad in a way, but still have those memories to go back on in that channel to go back. If you guys want to listen to some cool retro gaming podcast stuff, another gaming podcast, our episodes are all still online. Actually got a comment on my original YouTube channel just a couple days ago about a guy who's been subbed to us and love that thing. He just wants to see us come back and do more podcasts. So that would be cool. I don't know if it could ever happen. Just it's so tough to get scheduling and stuff knocked down. Just ask Alex. He tries to do his Video Games Guide In podcast to just do one a month, and it can get like tough to schedule a guest for it. So it can be tough, but love the memories from that and the memories from the whole like gaming community, friends and everything I've made along the way. It's been an awesome ride. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do it or do YouTube stuff. I think guys like Happy Console Gamer, Johnny Millennium, still doing it in the years that he's doing it. What age did he turn? He just had a birthday. I know he's in his 50s. Did he hit his 60s? I don't know yet. Sorry, Johnny, not to offend you, but he's kind of up there in age, and he's still going strong with making YouTube. But I really don't know, like, how much longer I might want to do it. You hit this age, and it's like, man, do I really want to keep giving time to doing these long videos and having to edit them and everything? Who knows? As long as it's fun, I guess, keep going, but we'll see. And I'm looking at the clock now. I wanted this to be short, and this one's going long, too. So I'll cut it off here. It's been an awesome ride so far. 40 years. Let's hopefully see if we can squeeze out another 40, see how it goes, and see how the gaming journey goes over the next 40 years. If it slows down a little bit or if I get more out of hand than ever as I get later in age. So who knows? Anyways, if you guys made it this far, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.